Well, hello everyone. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. All right, folks, I am shooting this opening days later after doing the Cloak board, and I'm basically catching up on closings, openings, and all that good stuff. First and foremost, want to thank everybody for the well wishes while I was down, sick, feeling bad, weak. We're trying to recover. I really appreciate it. Folks, y'all do so much for me and always are wishing best wishes, prayers, blessings. I thank you so much for it, and I am feeling better. It was about a 10-day bout, but we're doing good and we're working hard. So anyway, I am starting this video, or I'm actually shooting an opening for the video on a Cloak board. And look, there's many ways to use Cloak boards however you want to do it, but there is only one Cloak board method. And again, it's not a how-to video, but this one really kind of is, I guess, because I'm following Harry Cloake's way of doing a Cloak board and how he kind of came up with the idea and built it and did everything, because it's really a very simple way for small-scale beekeepers to do it. So I want to explain that in this video. So here we go. I set it up at the last minute on a whim. I said, shoot, I got time, let's do this thing. And I did this thing. So we did a thing, and here it is, the video that I shot on the Cloak board. Hope you enjoy it. So I've identified a colony I'm gonna do the Cloak board method on. The thing is, it's got a box with a bunch of cracks and craters in it and rot spots on the bottom. And in the Cloak board method, you really need to have secure boxes. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. Is I gotta change it out. So I've got a better box to put on it. And we're gonna take all these frames out so that while I'm changing it, maybe I can identify where the queen is. And I'll explain the whole method once I find her and go to putting it back together. I think that will be the easiest way. So let me get started. That's the box, that's the top. I'm looking for a strong hive, a strong colony. This is a strong one, and I'm looking for a lot of brood. So she's a 2024 queen. I'm hoping she has plenty of brood in there. And if she don't, then I could be kind of in a jam. But I really want emerging brood for my top box, and I'll explain all that in the process. Let me go through real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I got a big old mess out here. I saved you a lot of this work. And it's usually not too much work if you've got a well-configured colony. I didn't really have one, but here's the gist of it. We're going to set this up as a Cloak board, and I'm going to show you what we did. I got a bunch of frames in there, and what I did was I gave that queen, she's going to be down here. I did not find her. I'm going to look as I go, but we're going to shake everybody down so we make sure the queen is down there, because if we don't see her, she's got to be down there. We'll shake her down. The goal is to have the queen in the bottom. I gave her 2 more laying frames, but she's got some brood frames in there that have larvae. I want emerging brood for my top box. I'll explain how all this works as we do, but let's talk about configuration first. So I don't mind putting a little larvae up top, but I say no more in a frame, especially if you're going to graft soon, because then what happens is you end up with emergency cells, which I go through and check for them anyway. So we're going to shake each frame. This one's got larvae. I do want some larvae up there because I want to draw some more young bees to the top. I'll show you how we're going to do that. The entrance is in the back. That's the main manipulation you got to do, is get open places for the queen to lay down below. Some food and pollen, but mainly open frames, and maybe a couple more brood frames, but you don't need a lot of capped brood down there. And then you go through the top and make sure and shake every bee off, and you want to maintain yourself mostly all emerging capped brood up here. And so I shake each one looking for the queen first, because there's no sense in shaking. If I see her, I'll just put her down in there. This has got some larvae in it too, so we're going to be stuck with some larvae, but I'm not planning on grafting right away anyhow, so that's okay. So I'm not even going to look for her and all that. I'm going to shake them down. Nice cap brood frame, because we want young bees. We want emerging young bees for making queens. Now this colony is not the best one, but for right now and for today it is, because I'm just goofing around anyway to have some spare queens. It doesn't have to be a gigantic one, but you got to have a lot of nurse bees. Since it's a little smaller, I won't graft that many. You want to graft 10, 15, 20. You don't need a huge starter, but you do need a lot of nurse bees. I mean, like they say, when you think it's full, do 2 or 3 more frames worth of bees in there. But there are a lot of bees, so it should work. It's not the ideal colony, but it should work. This is what I want, frames like this. It's only gonna be a couple more days before we graft. This one's got pollen and brood, that's good. We definitely want brood and pollen next to our grafts. A nectar frame is ideal, but I'm gonna put feed on them anyway. Here's a nice pollen frame, that's what I'm wanting. That'll go right next to my graft. It's got fresh nectar in it as well. And since we're not making a ton, all right, that's gonna go on the outside. Smoke these down. Again, it's not gonna be a super huge one, but we're gonna capitalize on the manipulations, hopefully, and that's what's gonna get us our number of bees that we need. This is my dud frame. This is where my graft's gonna go. We're gonna block this entrance in the back too. Get these bees running and going. Get them in here. All right. Now we get our cloak board and put it on. They're looking for an entrance up front. All right, this is our cloak board. Oh, I need to clean it, but it's got a queen excluder in it. It's got a bottom to it. All right, so and it's got an entrance. This will be the entrance on the front now. And we'll have an excluder, so our queen is in the bottom. That's what we want. Okay. Now we packed this thing full. They don't want to stay in. It's too packed for them. So I'm gonna give them some smoke, kind of clean it off a little bit. They're gonna figure their way in a little while. So we're gonna stick this on. I don't like these plastics. Next year I might replace this queen excluder. Come on, get down on there. I don't like how it sags. I don't like plastic ones anyway. But now bees can go back and forth. We're gonna stack this next box on top. So they're gonna reorient to that front entrance. We're gonna go through this whole thing in a minute, I promise. So we're gonna get some brood in here. We want emerging brood. These bees are gonna come up and repopulate all this brood. Now some of this ain't emerging brood, and that's a shame. It's not the best configured colony, but it is what it is. We'll still get the nurse bees up, and that's what's important. But emerging brood helps provide. Now this is my dummy frame. All right, that's where we're gonna put the graft. Here's our pollen and brood. I want pollen right next to my graft. And a little pollen on this one. This is my dummy frame. I'll put this on the edge. So, there we go. Now they're gonna repopulate that box. We're gonna get this lid on. I'm gonna show you how this works. So there is an entrance back here. I'm gonna block it off. See if we can get them to go in it. We don't want them orienting on the back at all. Not yet. Well, ever, really. There are a lot of drones in this colony, too. I need to block this entrance. So I have set the cloak board up. I'm not sure it's the best colony. The best colony is the one over there, but it's got the oxalic acid extended release strips in it, and I'm not sure how that affects queen rearing. I don't know that I need to be doing it in there. I know oxalic acid's fine. It's when those cells are real young and the larvae are young. If I got strips nearby or something, I don't know. I'm just not going to take a chance, let me put it that way. So this may or may not be a good candidate, may work. So what you're looking for with a cloak board, and the idea of a cloak board is this. It is so that you can find yourself a good, this is for small scale persons out there wants to raise a few queens with grafting, and you don't want to make the starter or the finisher using double screen boards, shaking a bunch of bees from other colonies, bringing brood in, all that stuff. You just take yourself a nice strong double deep that's got an equal, it can't be top heavy with honey. And in that case, you may have to move some brood. I could stand to move some brood in that one, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to see how it pans out. But anyway, because I'm just not going to do a lot of grafts. Now, if I had a bunch of grafts, it'd have to be really super strong. In that case, if I'm doing a bunch, it may not be, needing to use a cloak board method. But I can, it's no problem, but I need to find something stronger. But a good strong double deep. And what this cloak board is kind of what the fellow, Mr. Cloak, I forget his first name, over in New Zealand, he developed this thing to where you could take that strong double deep and just with the resources of that colony, rear queens. It's that simple. That's how it's designed. It is some manipulation as far as getting it set up. You have to make a rear entrance that you can open and close, which I only have to do it once or twice. So you flip your bottom board and make your entrance here. You put your cloak board in, all right? Your entrance is now up front. On top though, instead at the bottom. You gotta make sure they can't get in any of the bottom areas. That box has to be in good shape. That's why I had to switch mine out. I had a box with a lot of rotten spots. And they'll reorient to the top eventually. They'll start going in there. Now everybody from the bottom will go through the excluder and out that way. The drones are stuck though. Unfortunately, there's a lot of drones in this colony, but that's all right. We'll let them out another time. And I've got as much emerging brood, capped emerging brood, and capped brood. I got a little bit of young brood to kind of draw more bees up, nurse bees, but you really don't want a lot of uncapped up top because you don't want to deal with emergency cells to any degree if you can help it. Now, how this is working now, we see they're all going to orient to that top. All the field bees are going to begin to orient to, they already oriented to the front from the original configuration, but now they're going to orient to the top entrance. And that's going to be perfect because what it's going to allow everybody to do is start coming and going from there. So when we get ready to graft, that evening before, or maybe that morning, I have to look. It's within the 24-hour period. This is how you make your starter. Once this thing is set up, this is the easiest thing you have to do as far as making this work. You have this plate, or you can make a cloak board, but this is a store-bought stamp brand. And all I have to do at this point is I know I'm going to graft. I need to make the top queenless, and that's my starter. I already got it configured with pollen and then brood next to that where the frame's going to go in the middle, and I'm going to put sugar syrup on top. Then all I have to do that morning or that night before is come in here with this plate, and it slides right in here. And it closes. I'm not going to do it because there's a lot of bees reorienting, but this thing slides right in here and it blocks. That bottom board is set up in such a way that this plate will slide across and completely block off that bottom box and that excluder. When I do that, I pop that board out of the back real quick and just open the back a little bit. Now, everybody wants to get out, they're going to come out the back, but they're oriented to the front. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause everybody that leaves that bottom to go up into this front. I'm going to bleed off every worker bee that's out there flying. All the nurse bees have been drawn up into the brood. I've got nurse bees emerging from brood, okay? And now I'm filling this top box up, utilizing the bees in the bottom and the top. My queen in the meantime is filling me up some new brood. I make my graft, I put it in. A day and a half, 2 days later, I pull this out. Guess what? And then I block the back. Everybody's using this again. They go back down to the queen. They spread themselves out amongst the boxes. Guess what? Now I have a queen right finisher. Only thing I got to do to make a second run is when I pull those, move more brood up to the top from the bottom, give her some more empty frames, run another batch, same configuration. So setting it up is the hardest part, and really, if you've got two equal boxes, it's not that hard. You just find the queen, or if you can't, shake everybody on the bottom like I did, put the thing on, it's set up. Have the, reverse it, it's set up. It's that easy. That's really how it's designed, to be easy, so that you can do it with just one box. So that's the cloak board in a nutshell, guys. That's really, that's its actual purpose as far as how it was designed. How somebody uses it, hey, sky's the limit, But that's the true cloak board method according to Mr. Cloak from New Zealand. And you can read about that on the Beekeeping Suite. I'll put a link in the description about that site. That's where I learned it. She gives a detailed explanation. I read her little paper or her page, and it really turned out good. So I'll let these things settle down, and maybe in a couple of days, if I've got time, I'll graft. I may not graft at all. In that case, I'll just reconvert it. But it's if I got time, I want to have something set up and ready to go. Hey, let's go stick this graft in that cloak board builder. See if it's got enough bees. All right, I'm gonna grab my smoker. We're gonna go out there. All right, let's see if this thing's got enough bees in it. May or may not. I'm gonna put them in anyway. There's a lot of bees, but now I'm gonna check this brood frame, make sure there's no emergency cells. That's one thing you've gotta check for. I usually shake them off to make sure, so I can see, because one emergency cell will ruin everything. I'm gonna check these 3 and then drop mine in. That way I can be done on this side of her. One of these black ones might fall off. Those are some weird off-brand. So I'm trying them. Now I'm gonna check the rest of these frames really quick. Well, we ran a lot of them out, so once we get all them back in, they'll be good to go, I guess. We'll see. That's all we can do. You know, when you hear these experienced beekeepers and these commercial guys talking about queen breeding and talking about the starter colony and the population, when they say overfill it, they truly mean overfill it. And I learned that trying it when I was first starting. It has to be so packed with bees. Cloak works good to do it, but you do need it's got to be a pretty stout double deep. Oh, and by the way, so the way this thing works now is the grafts are in, and tomorrow afternoon about this time, I should be able to just simply pull that plate out. Now I can open up and see if they started, or I can just pull it. And then now it's a queen right finisher. That's how it works. So one last thing we can't forget is feed. Gotta have feed. All right, throw some feed on there because we just don't have a flow. And with feed on there, plenty of bee bread, and hopefully enough bees to make at least a few cells, leave it alone. Keep the back open. Now tomorrow, I pull that slide, close the back up. I'm now back to a regular queen right finisher. All right, we wait. Good morning, folks. As you can see, it's definitely cloudy. Well, it's not cloudy. It's drop my glove. Foggy. Waiting for the fog to burn off. Weather to turn a little more pleasant because I got things to do in the yard today, the bee yard that is. But what I didn't do yesterday evening, it was 24 hours after I put a graft in, I didn't pull the board, the metal plate on the cloak board to now make the colony a queen right finisher. But I've also read where it's a 2-day deal. I've read 1 day, 24 hours pull it, and I've read in 2 days. I usually pull it a little over 24 hours, so it's been like 35 hours. It'll be fine. So anyway, bees are hanging out on the front, and I'm gonna pull it real quick, and it's nasty, so I'm gonna put a veil and gloves on. In the sunshine, it's not that big of a deal when it's nice out, but sometimes they do get ornery, but I pull it nice and slow. And all we're gonna do is now open, oops, well shoot. That just took everybody. All right. Dropped my smoker and it busted open. Anyway, if we do it nice and slow on a nice sunny day, ouch, they're stinging me. They are not happy with me in that smoker. First sting of the day, and all I'm doing is pulling this out. But anyway, on a nice day, it's not that big of a deal, but it might be today, and it sticks. And just go nice and slow. And now what we're doing is we're joining the nurse bees from the bottom, who will be eagerly coming up to help these build cells. I'm not going to open it right now because it's not the weather. So are they building cells? I don't know. Oh, it's nasty right now. And I didn't want to open them up. If they made cells, they made cells, and they'll still continue to finish them. If they didn't, well, it's a bust. I'll clean the frame later. I don't know. Honestly, the cloak board and throwing some cells in was a very last minute thing because I had some time one afternoon. And I said, let me do this. All right, we'll check back later. We'll see what happens. Since I'm out here, I might as well check this cloak board, see if it did anything. Looks like they've started some cells. Must have been a few bees, enough bees to start something. The population wasn't the greatest for this cloak board deal, but we've started some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and none on the bottom. Okay, so those black cups, I don't know what it is about those, and I was very careful with those because I wanted to try them. I just threw those extra 8 in there for the heck of it. And wow, so I actually had 1, 2, 3 misses, 4 misses because one of the cups fell off. Well, that's not good. I'm missing a cup right there. So that's counted a miss. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I have 4 misses. 1, 2. So that's 20. So that's 16 cells. Y'all seeing that? I hope that's showing up. Anyway, doggone cup fell off. Actually, I think another one fell off. I know I wrenched him in there good. 2 fell off. I don't see them down in there. I got 2 cups that fell off. Well, that's irritating. I'm seeing good royal jelly in all of them. That's nice. So I'm going to put them back. I don't like to mess with them too much. I have 4 misses. So it gives me 16 total. I'm happy with that. That's pretty good for just, oh, there's a cup. It's on the side. There it is. Y'all see it down in there? It's on the side of the frame. I don't know where the other, where's the other one? The other one fell down in there somewhere. And the black ones, these are some generic ones that I had bought. And I was skeptical about using them, and now I'm very skeptical about using them. Why they didn't take at least one, I mean, I'm not a great grafting person, but they would have taken at least one. So, I'm happy with that, though. All right, guys. Well, there you go. That's a cloak board. Now I'll just leave them in here until I'm ready to take them out on the 22nd, and I can run this again. Beauty of the cloak board is you can use this colony over and over. All you have to do, you can get 2 runs normally out of it because I put a lot of about 3 frames of brood that was still young, and then I put all emerging brood. So I get another run if I want. It's hit and miss. And then if I want a 3rd run, I need to move brood up. The thing with these is, with a cloak board, it's really small scale because you can't just keep cycling bunches through every couple days like a starter and then a finisher. These, you kind of have to let them go through their finishing part. So, because it's a starter and a finisher considered a builder. And so that's the cloak board. That's how easy it really is. It's really easy. You saw how easy that was. This was last minute, decided, hey, let me just do it. And off we went, did it, grafted one day, threw them in there. I mean, the whole process was about 3 days. Then a couple little manipulations and it's done. And all it is it's capturing the power of one colony, allowing you to use everything in it, manipulate them in such a way that they stay in the top for you, and then turn it right back into a regular honey producing colony. That's the beauty of it. Harry Cloake is the guy, and that's how he did it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that little tidbit of what I did with the cloak board. Looking forward to using them cells on some nukes, maybe on some late splits. So hey, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We will see you later.